Do I not have? There you go. Why is this like this? Oh, oh. Whatever. I don't know what that is. Sorry guys, I'm messing with the actual camera. I don't know what. I think that's glare. Is it glare? Yeah, it's glare. Okay, it's just my window. Sorry about that, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the Aftermarket Recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks again for joining me today and every afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the G.A.R Capital YouTube channel. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, click on that white logo, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel, like our videos. Really helps out the algorithm. Just press that like button if you love these videos. So sorry for not doing the morning note this morning. I was actually moving into another office set up with Nick near me. So again, I had to move a bunch of stuff. I actually rearranged my home office, so you could tell it's a little different now with the help of my wife to actually rearrange stuff. It looked like a cave basically where I used to work. Now I have a little bit of light. Now I have actually a window that I actually open. What a concept. You know, I don't live like a vampire anymore. All right, let's talk about it. Dow closed actually green for the day, flat, 35,091. NASDAQ down 0.58%. Was up green nicely earlier today, but pretty much closed at the bottom end of the range. S&P down 0.37. We had a big 3 p.m., not a big one, but a bigger flush of the day. We hit lows of the day right near close at 44.64. We ended the day at 44.83 on the S&P. The VIX came down 1.55% at 22.86. Equal weight S&P was actually green. So the value names did well. Again, energy, we'll talk about that here in a second. Small caps gained 0.49%, 199.36. The dollar index was relatively slightly flat red, 95.41. 10-year yields actually fell, 1.916 from overnight. Gold actually gained today 0.74%. I actually have GLD calls. Silver 2.31%. Taking a look here at credit, high yield credit was basically flat. Investment grade credit was actually green. Crude oil was actually down to today 0.74% at 91.63 a barrel, but yet energy stocks did gain. Curious, 0.49% gain on gasoline futures, 269.15, and gold again above that 1800 level, which is key, 2302 for silver. So again, some stuff happened today, not much in terms of real major headlines. A couple things that stood out. Peter Thiel stepping down from Facebook. I went ahead and posted that. Again, we posted on the Twitter that we're in Boeing calls. I'm still holding those calls. They hit as high as 32%. 215 strike is the one I have. Had 23,000 in volume about 2 hours ago. I think we opened that trade around 1:30, 2 o'clock. And other than that, I forgot to mention cryptocurrency soared. How about that? You know, it's been a while since we had a nice little boost in crypto. Still got a lot more to go, obviously. Nothing has changed in my perspective in terms of buying and selling. Is still on autopilot every week. But let's take a look at Bitcoin in terms of the 1 hour chart. You can see 44,000. We're now clear above that. Let's take a look at the daily. Here's where it gets interesting. You can see this downward channel. We're breaking out of that. So your next target is this 100-day, 200-day moving that's about to cross on the daily. That's right around 49.4. Again, take that opportunity if you want to get out of Bitcoin and you don't want to deal with it anymore due to the price swings. That's all I've been hearing on the DMs is, you know, growth stocks and Bitcoin and crypto swinging back and forth. That's your opportunity to sell. Not for any particular reason other than you're just tired of it. That's fine. I'm not selling anything. I'm keeping on buying. But again, that's a good opportunity for those who want to get out with some gains depending on where they bought or what have you. Not a bad target here on Bitcoin. 50,000 is probably my intermediary target. We should get there latest end of March, in my opinion. I think 50,000 is basically in the cards with this breakout out of this downward channel. So what does that mean for like coin and for the other names there? Coin, there's a gap to fill right at 215. If you take a look at the daily on Coinbase, you can see here there is a gap to fill on the daily as well, right around 220. So take a look at those 220 calls for a possible opportunity if Bitcoin continues to move. We played Mara a couple of weeks ago. It was a nice green trade for us on that one. Again, nice pop again, but there is some short-term resistance right around 27. So I'll wait for that to clear first before you do any moves on Mara. If anything, maybe 27 and a quarter would be prudent if you wanted to go long or wanted to go ahead and buy calls there. But if we take a look here and expand it more back on S&P futures, again, here's your Monday action. Pretty much 45.10 to around 44.80. That's pretty much the range, and we broke down a little bit towards the tail end of the session. So again, not tons of stuff going on in terms of news. There really wasn't much out there. We know the deal with Russia and Ukraine. Nothing has changed on that front. Interest rates actually went down today. Oil was down today. Interesting. Again, we talked about that. So inflationary pressures, sure. We are kind of waiting on looking at the inflation data we're going to get on Wednesday. Let me go to Forex Factory to go ahead and make sure where we're at for the week. This week, I'll go ahead and check it out. We have a 10-year bond auction on Wednesday. Tomorrow, not much going on, but Wednesday's the big day. Thursday's the big day. We have the inflationary reading CPI on Thursday, February 10th. And then Wednesday, we'll have some FOMC speakers and the 10-year bond auction. But tomorrow, again, you're just playing technicals right now. Again, unless you're really scalping, I wouldn't be going to the indexes like a Qs or a SPY right now. I'd be really focusing on the names that have been beaten down lately. Nvidia had a nice day today. Boeing had a nice day today. Penn had a nice day. Coin, Riot, Mara, Peloton. You can thank them for the bids from possible acquisition from Amazon, Nike, and Apple. Cannabis stocks were up. Caterpillar was up. So again, there is opportunities out there. Some names that made new 52-week lows. Facebook made new 52-week lows. So did Square. Bab was kind of ranging. Tesla had some SEC headlines regarding Elon Musk. You can take a look at that. I'm in calls on that one. Literally right here's where I got in, and it flipped back down. So I'm holding on to that. As long as we stay above 905, 900, I think it's going to be fine. Again, pretty much a range-bound day. It's going to follow the NASDAQ for the most part. At one point, Tesla was up nearly 2.5%. And then just that headline, the SEC headline, just hit the wire and hit the stock. So again, nothing really underlying issue with the stock. They had some great numbers year over year. We know that. They had their Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So again, no real fundamental reason to close out the Tesla trade that I have now, only that I'm down on it, but I'll wait on it for a little bit. But other than that, guys, not much today. Pretty much the bottle of it is all quiet on the Western Front. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Terry says, hi, XLE calls for this week. It's been going up since last week. I do have some XLE calls that I filled that I wasn't sure of yet. I have the 70 calls. The 70s and 71s are gaining some momentum. I'm actually probably looking at if we break 70 again to possibly get into the 71. So XLE is definitely on my radar. Had some great price action today, even though oil was down. But let's take a look at what it does overnight. Remember, we have crude oil inventories on Wednesday, so you're kind of coming up into that, but there is some volume there. And with a nice chart, I mean, maybe buy it for the week after, Terry, if anything. Yeah, Facebook, Peter leaving is big. Yeah, well, keep in mind, he wasn't really the philosophical founder. He was the angel investor that got Facebook to where they are. So it wasn't really a philosophical change in terms of the company and how it's ran. But again, yeah, you could tell, like, for the most part, the rat leaving the sinking ship, right? And the hits just keep on coming for Facebook. But again, a break of 245 is where it gets interesting for me. We can target 260. I've been watching that, but again, for the most part, it's just down right now. Pretty much just taking its lumps as it goes until we start hitting max capitulation. Who knows when that will be? Maybe that can come to, if we go ahead and bring up the 200-day, the 2-year, you have really that 224 level, which we're basically hovering above. If they go and bring up the weekly, you're basically hitting the resistance of 2020. And you're talking about wiping out all of 2021 gains in one earnings report. So again, that's not exactly, I don't think that's fair value for Facebook. Facebook makes great money. Their PE ratios are still going up. There's great value there. But again, the question is, do you want to handle this kind of up and down movement in a mega cap name like Facebook, which is insane to see. But again, Amazon has had these kind of days, Apple's had these kind of days, Tesla's had these kind of days, and they've been okay in the end. GS looks to hit 380 soon. Yes, I have an alert on Goldman Sachs. There is a gap to fill right on the daily 2-year, and you can see it right here. If I go ahead and break out 372, there is some upward gaps to fill right around 389, 390. So again, 380 is a good chart, good level to target. But I think a break of 372, the 390s would probably be the way to go. There is some volume there, but again, 372 is the level we need to break. What's with the steep falls at the end of the day? Inflation data comes Thursday, and jobless claims. Well, jobless claims is every Thursday. That doesn't really change. Kind of like crude oil inventories. The steep fall, again, there's not real any reason on it. I didn't see any headlines. Sometimes there is something where we get an imbalance of buyers and sellers. You may see it on Twitter or your terminal where it says MOC, market or close, and then there's like 300 to buy, market imbalance of 300 to sell, 300 million to sell, 300 million to buy, sometimes in the billions. Usually just some technical issues where, hey, we need to find buyers to close. A lot of day traders, a lot of algorithms. That's where you get some of the steep swings. That's why you get that call, the 3 p.m. power hour. But for the most part, if you take a look at the S&P futures, again, it bounced towards the end of the session. We went to lows of 44.62, and we got back right out to 44.80 and held above so far. So again, the SPX, sure, that's the index, but take a look at the S&P futures. You see, usually after those kind of steep, sharp rises or sharp falls towards the tail end of the day, once 4 o'clock hits, you see S&P kind of moving the other direction for the most part. Hey, Carlos, what are your thoughts on a good entry for RTX? Let's take a look at it. RTX, I believe this is Raytheon. If you're looking to buy this stock, and I'm looking at just pure technicals here, let's go and bring up the daily chart on the 2-year. Actually, you're buying on a breakout. So no, I would not want to buy at these levels here. Today, it's up for the day for the most part. So I don't like buying stocks on the way up. But if you look at the weekly chart, really $100 is your resistance on a 3-year basis. If we go ahead and extend that, you could see 100, you're coming close to a $100 triple top, maybe 95 triple top on RTX. So again, if this is a level that you own some shares in and you want to take some profits, Raytheon may be coming through that. Again, that's just a technical basis. This is a weekly chart on a 20-year basis, and you can see triple top may be forming or a breakout depending on your point of view of the company. Is there a trick to back testing on Thinkorswim? I'm having trouble using the platform. That's what Preston's asking. I have not used back testing on TOS, so I really wouldn't know. The good news, I know that for a fact that Thinkorswim, the actual TD Ameritrade, has a YouTube channel, and on their website they have a whole library of all the hotkeys and all the extra good stuff that I basically miss 80% of TOS's capability because all I do is chart. So like basic charts. Price action is my indicator. But for a lot of people, they like using really some deep dive work. This is as comparable as a Bloomberg as you're going to get, where you don't have to pay $25,000 a year. Now, I know on a Bloomberg and a Reuters icon, you can do back testing, but I'm not sure on TOS, to be honest. Let's see. Airlines seem to hold well on red days like this. Why is that? That's just really the value names. Really, the airlines held up today because Spirit and Frontier merged today. They're announcing a merger or an acquisition. That's really it. I remember sectors run together. So again, you saw, for example, energy. All energy stocks went up. If you looked at fintech, all fintech went down. Social media names, Google, that's part of communication services, the actual sector for the S&P. You had Twitter, Match, Facebook, and Google all down today. Google didn't do anything wrong. It's just the fact that they're in the lump of the bad neighborhood that Facebook tends to live in. Think of Facebook as a dilapidated house on a nice block. It just brings down all the property values. It's kind of the explosion effect of what is around it, and it works good ways when, like for example, an AMD has a great earnings report. Qualcomm's going to go up, Nvidia's going to go up, Micron's going to grow up in sympathy. Sectors tend to run together. Remember that. Good morning, good afternoon. Recommendations or an entry on MO. This is, I believe, Altria, which is a dividend king. If you wanted to own this name, you're really owning it for the yield. There's really no real bad time to buy it. You're going to hit some short-term resistance on the daily. Not the worst thing in the world. Again, you're owning it for the yield. They pay a consistent yield. They have grown their yield. Them and Philip Morris, again, if you're into tobacco and you're into investing in that, if that's your thing, and you just don't care and you want the yield, you'd be surprised how many fund managers refuse to invest in an Altria or a Philip Morris because they're tobacco products. And that or cannabis stocks, because maybe they just don't fit their criteria in terms of the vices and such, or they don't invest in alcohol companies, for example, like a Constellation. But again, an Altria Group and a Philip Morris, those are you own those and you hold those forever. Kind of like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they're staples. They're always going to be needed. And thank you, Gar, much appreciated. HubSpot. I've never heard of HubSpot. Do you have a ticker symbol on them? Maybe it's HUBS. Oh, there you go. I got it right. I've never heard of HubSpot before. I don't know what they do, so I'm just going to go with just pure technicals. You look like you're forming a base of support here, right on 414, 424. If you wanted to buy now and you like the future of this company, again, I don't know what they do. Again, you have until 500 to do so, because that's where you're going to probably get a retrace, maybe to 550. If I'm assuming this is a growth stock, you're probably going to go ahead and bounce back short term, and then you probably get that right shoulder effect. Again, that head and shoulders that we see here, we may get that other shoulder. So if you wanted to own it here, you can reload. If you wanted to buy it here, again, not knowing anything about this company, just pure technicals, you can keep a stop loss right at 400, and you can just play until really 600 for a 2-to-1 risk reward and swing it. That's a trade idea. What do you think about Nike? I absolutely love Nike. Nike is actually one of the 2 apparel companies that I own in my portfolio. Nike being, I think, the second to largest one. Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy is the other. But I get charged on the broker because they're listed outside the U.S. So either way, Nike is one of my favorite companies to own. I think they're great. They pay a yield. There's growth there. Demand is there. I know that because I'm a sneakerhead, and I always buy their new sneakers. I'm totally obsessed. So again, for not taking my money as a shareholder, why not own Nike? They're a great company. They may be a little expensive in terms of PE. They may not be a value company, but there is still growth. All right, guys, we'll go and leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. GARcapitalfx.com is a website. Feel free to check us out. Again, anytime here on YouTube, we have our previous videos up. Click on the bottom right-hand corner. Hit that like button if you love these videos, and comment any of your questions at any time. We'll see if we can help. Have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one, guys.